At the beginning of the drama, our female lead, Emma, tells us that today she is going to propose to her ex-husband's uncle, who is none other than the male lead, Henry. As soon as he comes home, Emma quickly approaches him. He notices her condition and tells her that she is drunk. She denies it, insisting that she only had a little to drink. Emma then starts thanking Henry, and he asks how she intends to thank him. She boldly replies that she will give herself to him. Hearing this, Henry questions if she truly knows who he is. Emma confidently says, "Yes, you are Henry." As they continue talking, Emma reveals in her thoughts that Henry has taken care of her for the past 3 years and even saved her life. She is grateful for everything he has done. Henry then tells Emma that they will go get their marriage certificate the very next day. Concerned, she asks whether his family will approve of their marriage, considering that she was once his nephew's wife. Henry reassures her that no one can stop him and that he will only marry her. That night, they spend time together. The next morning, Emma wakes up to the sound of her stepsister, Luna, knocking on the door, urging her to get up because today is their father's 45th birthday party. Confused and shocked, Emma wonders what is happening. This is her father's house, where she used to live years ago. How can it be his 45th birthday when she was just about to marry Henry? Panicked, she looks at the calendar and is utterly shocked to realize that she has traveled 5 years back in time. She wonders why this has happened to her. Just when she had confessed her love and was about to get her marriage certificate with Henry, she was sent back to her unfortunate past. Feeling distressed, Emma initially thinks it must be a dream. In her previous life, she was unlucky, her husband divorced her, her stepmother and stepsister tried to kill her, and now, just when she found love, she is back at square one. Determined, she wishes to wake up and see Henry again. However, Luna interrupts her thoughts, asking why she is pretending to sleep. She reminds Emma that many wealthy and famous men have come to the party. Curious, Emma asks who has arrived. Luna excitedly mentions that James is there, along with his uncle, who has just returned from abroad. Hearing this, Emma becomes overjoyed, realizing that Henry is here. Luna then tells Emma to get ready quickly and join the party, as their father will be angry if she is late. Luna then leaves, saying she will entertain James in the meantime. Emma smirks, realizing that Luna already had feelings for James, which explains why she targeted her after she married him in their past life. However, none of that matters anymore. Emma is reborn, and she will not allow history to repeat itself. Her new life has just begun, and this time, she will change her fate. At the party, James is delighted to see Emma and compliments her beauty. Luna also remarks on Emma's dress, but Emma remembers how, in her previous life, Luna had ruined her dress and made her fall at this very event. Determined to take revenge, Emma suddenly trips Luna, causing her to stumble. Luna cries out for James to catch her, but he doesn't react in time, and she falls to the ground. Emma feigns concern and sarcastically scolds Luna for not walking carefully. Furious, Luna pushes Emma in retaliation. Just then, Henry arrives and catches Emma before she falls. She looks at him with admiration, feeling overjoyed that her husband has come to her rescue. However, Henry quickly distances himself, making Emma momentarily disappointed. But she reassures herself, thinking, "It doesn't matter, you will be mine one day." The guests at the party start whispering about Henry's past. They talk about how, in his younger days, he was a special forces soldier and had never shown interest in any woman. Yet, today, he had swooped in like a hero to save Emma. James greets Henry respectfully, calling him uncle. Emma's father then instructs both Emma and Luna to greet Henry properly, as he is their uncle too. However, Emma refuses, thinking that since he is going to be her husband, it would be too strange to call him uncle. Instead, she confidently greets Henry by name and extends her hand for a handshake, all the while thinking, "I am your future wife." Emma's father is furious at her audacity and scolds her for disrespecting her elders. He even raises his hand to slap her, but Henry intervenes, stopping him. Henry calmly tells Emma's father that it doesn't matter if she called him by his name, and it doesn't bother him at all. Saying this, he turns to leave. Luna, seeing an opportunity, suggests that Emma must be drunk and should be punished by being locked in her room for the rest of the party. Emma immediately understands Luna's plan. She wants to keep her away so that she can get closer to James. But Emma has no interest in James anymore. She is here only for Henry. Emma's father agrees to punish her but gives her the option to stay outside instead of being locked in her room. Seizing the opportunity, Emma chooses to be sent out, knowing that Henry prefers spending time in the garden. Excited, she happily leaves the villa. Once outside, she spots Henry and calls out to him cheerfully before rushing to his side. However, before she can say much, James appears, holding a cake, and offers it to her. She coldly refuses, saying she isn't hungry and telling him to leave. Confused, James asks why she is suddenly upset with him. He reminds her that they spoke on the phone last night, and everything seemed fine. Emma scoffs, thinking about her past life. In her previous life, she had done everything for James, but he still believed the lies of her stepmother and stepsister. He accused her of infidelity, threw her out of the house, and even divorced her. Later, her stepmother tried to kill her, but luckily, Henry saved her and took care of her for 3 years. Remembering all this, Emma feels nothing but resentment towards James. This time, she will not let him ruin her life again. Henry starts questioning James, asking what exactly he did that made Emma dislike him. He urges her to tell him so he can change, but Emma challenges him instead, asking what he likes about her so she can change that as well. James, confused, insists that he really likes her. But Emma coldly replies that it doesn't matter because she doesn't like him. She grabs his tie, pulling him closer, and warns him to stay away from her. Henry, witnessing the scene from a distance, misinterprets the situation and assumes that Emma and James are involved. Feeling uneasy, he quietly leaves. Emma, after pushing James away, looks around for Henry but realizes he has disappeared. She wonders where he might have gone. Just then, her stepsister Luna approaches and asks what she was talking about with James. Emma nonchalantly reveals that James confessed his love to her, shocking Luna, who immediately asks if she accepted. Emma firmly denies it, much to Luna's delight. Meanwhile, Emma's best friend, Sophia, arrives and greets her. Emma reflects that in her past life, Sophia had married a deceitful man who eventually drove her to suicide. Determined to change the course of events, Emma vows to protect her friend this time. She suddenly hugs Sophia, expressing how much she loves her. Concerned, Sophia asks if James had troubled her, but Emma reassures her, explaining that she had a nightmare in which Sophia died, which left her shaken. Sophia laughs, dismissing it as just a dream, and suggests they return to the party. Concerned, Sophia asks if James had troubled her, but Emma reassures her, explaining that she had a nightmare in which Sophia died, which left her shaken. Sophia laughs, dismissing it as just a dream, and suggests they return to the party. However, Emma explains that her father had punished her by making her stay outside the villa. Sophia, sympathizing, offers to bring her some food. Emma waits in the garden, enjoying the view, but suddenly stumbles due to her sandals. Just in time, Henry appears and catches her, saving her from falling once again. Overjoyed, Emma silently rejoices in seeing him again. Seizing the moment, she pretends to be in pain, hoping to gain his attention. Concerned, Henry makes her sit down and checks her ankle, adjusting her socks while she watches him dreamily, blushing. Henry, noticing her flushed face, asks if she is feeling unwell, but she quickly dismisses it, claiming it's due to the pain in her leg. Just then, Sophia arrives with a cake and is surprised to see Henry. She playfully questions Emma about why she is alone with her uncle. Emma jokes that Henry was hiding in the garden and they met by chance. Henry, still concerned, asks about her injury, and when she reassures him that she is fine, he tells her to take care and leaves. As he walks away, Henry contemplates his feelings, realizing that he has known Emma since childhood and once carried her in his arms. Now that she has grown up, he decides he must keep his distance. Sophia, noticing Emma's unusual behavior, teases her, asking if something is going on between her and Henry. Emma denies it but quickly inquires whether Henry will be leaving abroad again. Sophia explains that Henry has always been distant from their family and only returned for their grandfather's birthday party. She suspects he will leave again afterward. Hearing this, Emma becomes anxious, realizing that their grandfather's birthday is next month, and her college entrance exam is in 2 months. If Henry leaves too soon, she won't get to see him again. Sensing Emma's worry, Sophia probes further, asking why she is so concerned about her uncle. Emma casually replies that she has always admired Henry since childhood and reminisces about how handsome he looked while swimming. Sophia agrees, mentioning that Henry looks even more attractive now. Emma, intrigued, wonders if that's true, considering that in her past life, she had met Henry when he was 30, but now, 5 years earlier, he is only 25, a perfect age to win a man's heart. Determined, she convinces Sophia to take her to watch Henry swim the next day. That night, after the party, Emma returns home, where her father confronts her about not helping Luna when she fell. Without hesitation, Emma apologizes, which surprises Luna. She had expected Emma to react emotionally so that their father would punish her more harshly. Instead, Emma remains calm, leaving Luna frustrated. Her father, seeing Emma's remorse, simply tells her to go rest. Emma bids Luna goodnight and heads to her room. The next morning, she eagerly goes to watch Henry swim, but Sophia calls, apologizing that she won't be able to accompany her because she has taken her mother to the hospital. Disappointed, Emma sighs, realizing that her plans may have been in vain. Just as she contemplates leaving, Henry emerges from the pool, his wet body glistening in the sunlight. Emma's heart flutters with excitement as she watches him. Henry notices her and apologizes if he startled her, asking what she just said. Emma quickly covers up, saying it's just a coincidence that they met again. She rushes to hand him a towel, taking in the sight of his physique. Henry, noticing her lingering gaze, changes the subject, asking if her leg is better. She assures him that it is, and just then, James appears, interrupting their conversation. Henry hands Emma over to James and walks away. James, frustrated, questions why Emma ignored his calls. She had expected Emma to react emotionally so that their father would punish her more harshly. Instead, Emma remains calm, leaving Luna frustrated. Her father, seeing Emma's remorse, simply tells her to go rest. Emma bids Luna goodnight and heads to her room. The next morning, she eagerly goes to watch Henry swim, but Sophia calls, apologizing that she won't be able to accompany her because she has taken her mother to the hospital. Disappointed, Emma sighs, realizing that her plans may have been in vain. Just as she contemplates leaving, Henry emerges from the pool, his wet body glistening in the sunlight. Emma's heart flutters with excitement as she watches him. Henry notices her and apologizes if he startled her, asking what she just said. Emma quickly covers up, saying it's just a coincidence that they met again. She rushes to hand him a towel, taking in the sight of his physique. Henry, noticing her lingering gaze, changes the subject, asking if her leg is better. She assures him that it is, and just then, James appears, interrupting their conversation. Henry hands Emma over to James and walks away. James, frustrated, questions why Emma ignored his calls. He insists that she must be angry with him, but she clarifies that she rejected him and has no reason to be upset. James, refusing to believe her, accuses her of lying, convinced that she still likes him. She firmly denies it, stating that she never gave him any reason to think that way. However, James refuses to accept her words and grabs her hand to stop her from leaving. Struggling to free herself, Emma accidentally loses her balance and falls into the swimming pool. James panics, but before he can react, Henry swiftly dives into the water, rescuing her without hesitation. Emma was overjoyed to see Henry, and he quickly lifted her out of the pool. However, as soon as she tried to stand, pain shot through her leg. Henry looked at her with concern and said, "You should go to the hospital." Just then, James rushed over. As he approached, Emma glared at him and said, "Don't bother me. I fell because of you, and I'm really angry." James looked guilty and pleaded, "I'm sorry. Let me help you. I'll take you to the hospital." Emma shook her head. "No, I don't need your help. I'll go alone." James smirked. "Stop pretending. I'm coming with you." Emma groaned internally. Why is he always after me? She worried that Henry might misunderstand their relationship, so she turned to him and said, "Henry, please take me to the hospital." At the hospital, while Emma was being examined, James anxiously asked Henry, "She'll be okay, right?" Henry nodded. "Yes, it's just a minor injury. She'll be fine." But tell me, why didn't you jump in to save her? James hesitated. Uncle, I panicked. When the doctor finished the checkup, Emma felt relieved to see Henry still waiting. He looked at her curiously. Your leg is hurt, yet you're smiling? Before Emma could respond, Sophia scolded James. Brother, you're the worst. If something had happened to Emma, would you have taken responsibility? James immediately declared, yes. I would have married her. Henry's expression darkened, and Emma's eyes widened. What nonsense is he saying? I don't want to marry you, she snapped. What if my husband misunderstands? She shot James a glare. He chuckled nervously. Are you still mad at me? Emma took a deep breath, then smirked. No, not at all. In fact, I'm happy. After all, you and my sister love each other so much. James paled. That's not true. Henry, now deep in thought, wondered, so he likes her sister? Emma suddenly gasped and clutched her chest. I feel like I can't breathe. Henry's protective instincts kicked in. I'll take you for a checkup. James and Sophia moved to follow, but Emma dramatically leaned on Henry. No, you're my guardian. You have to come with me. Henry frowned slightly. She didn't want to call me uncle in front of her father and even took a punishment for it. Now she insists on me coming? Still, he turned to James and Sophia. You both stay here. I'll take her. As they entered the elevator, Emma beamed. Finally. Some alone time with my husband. Henry's friend, a doctor, examined Emma and then asked Henry, who is she? Henry replied, she's my friend's daughter. She calls me Uncle Dot. The doctor smirked. Is that so? After the checkup, he privately asked Emma, so, what's going on? Emma grinned. Actually, I was just pretending. Henry was worried, so I played along, just tell him I'm fine. The doctor chuckled. I see. All right, I'll tell him. Later, as Henry prepared to take her home, Emma casually asked, next week is your father's birthday party, right? Can I come? Henry thought for a moment. She's still a child. Of course, she would like to attend a birthday party. Yes, you can come. Emma grinned. Great. See you there. When Emma arrived home, she found her stepmother and Luna returning from an expensive shopping trip. Luna flaunted her designer dresses. Emma frowned. Didn't you get anything for me? Luna sneered. No. And I won't show you what I bought either. Their mother smirked. You have nothing. Everything belongs to my daughter. Emma saw her father approaching and immediately pretended to fall, clutching her leg. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at him. Dad, Mom only bought expensive clothes for Luna. She didn't get me anything. Her father barely let her finish before handing her his credit card. Here, buy whatever you want. Emma became happy. Perfect. Now I can get a beautiful dress for the party. Luna and her mother, however, were fuming with jealousy. At the birthday party, Henry noticed Emma and asked, is your foot injury better? She nodded. Yes. Good. Now go play. Emma pouted. He really thinks of me as a child. Never mind, one day, I'll make him see that I've grown up. Then, her gaze fell on a man standing next to Henry. She gasped. That's my uncle, my mother's younger brother. In her past life, he was the only one who cared for her. The rest of her family despised her. However, he didn't recognize her now, though he did glance at her curiously. He must think I look familiar. Just then, James entered the hall. Emma sighed. If he sees me again, he'll start bothering me. She quickly slipped into another room and was shocked to find Henry's mother being bullied. People sneered at her, calling her a mistress and mocking how Henry's father never married her. Emma clenched her fists. In my past life, she was bullied so much that she committed suicide. But this time, I'll protect her. Henry's mother, serving drinks, approached a group of women. One of them sipped her water and suddenly yelled, "It's too hot." She raised the glass, about to throw it at her. Emma stepped forward just in time, shielding Henry's mother. The woman glared at Emma. "Who do you think you are?" Emma smirked. Then splashed water on her and slapped her. The hall went silent. "How dare you?" the woman shrieked. Emma narrowed her eyes. "Didn't your parents and teachers ever teach you to respect your elders?" Just then, Henry entered the room and locked eyes with Emma. Watching the scene unfold, Emma's stepmother and stepsister sneered at her, saying, "If you've stolen it, just admit it. Then Auntie will let you go." But Emma refused to give in. Her stepmother, furious, raised her hand to slap her. Before she could, Henry caught her wrist and said coldly, "I can prove that Lynn hasn't stolen anything." With that, he played the CCTV footage, which showed James giving Emma the necklace. The crowd murmured in shock, realizing that James had been forcing the necklace on Emma, and she hadn't even wanted to take it. So he was the one lying? Someone whispered. That poor girl was accused for no reason. Another chimed in, he was after her all along. James, embarrassed, turned to his mother and shouted, "You made me look like a fool." Henry, unimpressed, punished James, saying, "You won't leave the house for some time." Then he turned to Emma. "Come outside with me. I need to talk to you." She followed him, and to her surprise, he handed her a white dress. "I bought an extra one," he said nonchalantly. Her heart fluttered as she took it, beaming. "Come on, I'll drop you home," he added. Emma couldn't contain her happiness. That night, Luna called her friend, revealing, "I'm pregnant." However, she was more concerned about James's growing interest in Emma. "He keeps looking at her," she muttered. Her friend smirked. "Our college entrance exams are coming up, and Grandpa said Uncle Henry will tutor us. Why don't you join the class? You'll see James every day." Luna immediately agreed. Meanwhile, Emma also learned about Henry's tutoring sessions. Excited, she asked her father for permission. He agreed and immediately called Henry, ensuring she could attend. The next day, as Henry taught the class, Emma's heart raced at the sight of him. When he called her to solve a problem, she thought, "I've solved this countless times in my past life." She answered with ease, earning Henry's praise. After class, she started sketching. The tutoring sessions soon ended, leading to a camping trip. During the trip, Sophia eyed Emma suspiciously. "You like my uncle, don't you?" she teased. Emma's face turned red. "How did you know? And don't say it so loudly." Sophia grinned. "I knew it. Don't worry, I'll help you." Just then, they spotted Henry on a blind date with Amy. Amy clung to him, pretending to be scared and asking to stay in his tent. Sophia scoffed. "She's so sly." Without hesitation, she marched over. "You're scared, right? I'll stay with you," she offered sweetly. Amy paled, realizing her plan had failed. Meanwhile, Sophia continued helping Emma get closer to Henry. That night, Emma sat beside Henry, starting a casual conversation. He advised her, "Focus on your college entrance exam." She smiled mischievously. "No, right now, I just want to be alone with my favorite person." Henry frowned slightly, wondering, is she talking about me? Emma then recalled a nearby village where her mother lived. "My back is hurting," she lied. "I need to visit the miracle doctor there. Will you take me tomorrow?" Henry, concerned, agreed. The next morning, they arrived at the village, but Emma had no intention of seeing a doctor. Instead, she wanted to introduce Henry to his mother. Suddenly, they heard a commotion. Henry rushed ahead and saw his mother being bullied. Emma followed, furious. She stood up to the rude aunties, scolding them until they left. Henry watched in admiration. Later, Emma gently told him, "I never had a mother growing up. I know how it feels. But you have one, and she truly cares for you. Take care of her." Henry's heart softened. I will, he promised. Meanwhile, Luna plotted with her mother. We can't let Emma pass the exam, she insisted. Her mother smirked. Leave it to me. The next morning, Emma's stepmother and stepsister served her breakfast laced with stomach-inducing medicine. During the exam, she felt intense pain. Desperate, she called Henry. He immediately arranged for medicine to be delivered. Despite the pain, she managed to finish the exam. When the results came out, Luna and her mother were livid. How did she pass? Her mother fumed, tearing the result sheet. When Emma discovered this, she called Sophia. Let's go to the college and retrieve your result. Uncle Henry's connections will help. That evening, Luna tried to fool their father. Dad, I couldn't pass the exam, she lied. But before he could respond, Emma entered, proudly showing her results. I passed with excellent marks and got into a prestigious university, she announced. Their father beamed with pride and rewarded Emma generously, making Luna seethe with jealousy. Later, Emma and Sophia settled into their hostel room. Sophia then dropped a bombshell. Uncle Henry is going abroad. He leaves tomorrow. Emma's heart sank. Determined to see him, she and Sophia waited outside his company. When he arrived, Sophia grinned. Uncle, since you're leaving, take us out for dinner. Henry agreed, and they went to a restaurant. During dinner, Emma drank heavily, secretly signaling Sophia to leave. Understanding her plan, Sophia excused herself, leaving Emma alone with Henry. Pretending to be drunk, Emma clung to him. Please don't leave me, she whispered. Henry, startled, said, Look carefully. Do you know who I am? She smiled dreamily. Of course. You're Henry. My husband. Shocked, Henry thought, she's lost her mind. When she leaned in and kissed him, he froze. Please don't go abroad, she murmured. Henry didn't respond. Instead, he gently secured her seatbelt and drove her back to the hostel. Watching her sleep, he sighed, still processing her words. As Henry was about to leave, he accidentally dropped some files. When he bent down to pick them up, he noticed a sketch inside. To his surprise, it was a drawing of himself. Flipping through the pages, he realized that all the sketches were of him, making him understand that Emma had feelings for him. The next morning, Sophia called Emma, urging her to hurry. My uncle is about to reach the airport, and his flight leaves in 2 hours. Emma was shocked and determined to see him one last time. She rushed to the airport, calling out Henry's name, but he didn't hear her. Desperate, she called his phone. He finally turned around and asked if she was okay. With tears in her eyes, she pleaded. Can't you wait until I graduate? It won't take long. However, Henry remained silent and walked away, leaving Emma in tears. 2 years passed. One day, Emma, along with her college principal and other students, waited outside to welcome an important guest. As a car pulled up, Henry stepped out. Seeing him again, Emma's heart swelled with happiness, while Henry silently noted how much weight she had lost over the years. The principal handed her a bouquet and instructed her to present it to Henry. As they walked inside, Emma couldn't help but feel relieved that he had finally returned. Later, Sophia told Henry, Uncle, Emma is being punished by Director Lee. She's been standing outside for hours. Concerned, Henry followed her to find Emma holding a book above her head as part of her punishment. Furious, he questioned the director, who claimed Emma had broken school rules. Sophia protested, accusing the director of unfair treatment. When Emma nearly collapsed, Henry panicked, lifting her into his arms and rushing her to the hospital. As they drove, the car suddenly braked, causing an accidental kiss. Shocked, Henry muttered, Have I gone mad? After her hospital visit, Emma insisted on taking a taxi home, but Henry suggested they take a walk together instead. As they walked, he asked, Do you know my relationship with your dad? I call him my elder brother. Emma responded, But you're not real brothers, just friends. Henry then reminded her, You call me uncle. She quickly retorted, Fine, I won't say it again. Yet, Henry remained distant. Frustrated, Emma asked, Don't you like me? He hesitated, thinking he had to be careful. "You're still a child in my eyes," he finally said. Emma protested, "I'm 20 now." "I'm not a child," and impulsively kissed him. Henry immediately pushed her away, exclaiming, "You've lost your mind." Emma firmly replied, "I'm not crazy, I just like you." But Henry coldly responded, "Listen carefully. I do not like you. This is impossible." Emma reminded him, "Then why did you care for me? Why take me to the hospital?" Henry justified his actions, saying, "As your elder, it was my responsibility. And whatever happened, I will pretend it never did. We will never meet again." He then drove away, leaving Emma heartbroken but determined. The next day, Henry went to visit his mother, only to find Emma already there, chatting with his mom and grandmother. Shocked, he asked, "What are you doing here?" His mother invited Emma to stay for dinner, and though she initially declined, Henry insisted she agree. Knowing it would make his grandmother happy, during dinner, Henry's mother told Emma, "You're so young and beautiful, I can't call you madam." Emma smiled and suggested, "Then call me auntie instead." Henry objected, but his grandmother dismissed him, saying, "Why do you care?" When Henry later dropped Emma home, he said, "I only agreed to this to please my grandmother. Don't take it seriously." Emma playfully replied, "Well, I'm calling your mom auntie now, so calling you uncle makes no sense anymore. I already love someone else." Enraged, James shouted, "No one else can love you as much as I do." He forcefully grabbed her, refusing to let go despite her struggling and pleading. Just then, Henry arrived and punched James, pushing him away. "If you don't want to go abroad, then leave quietly," he warned. James, defeated, left. Emma, still shaken, turned to Henry and asked, "Did you call me here to meet him?" Henry scoffed, "How stupid can you be? Why would I do that?" Embarrassed, Emma admitted, "I thought you were surprising me." Henry reassured her, "If I wanted to surprise you, I would have come to pick you up myself. From now on, I will always protect you." He gently kissed her forehead and took her home. Emma, feeling nervous, wondered why he had brought her home so soon. Was he planning something? However, Henry simply placed a necklace around her neck. Seeing her flustered expression, he smirked and said, "I just wanted to give you a gift." Emma smiled. "I'm so happy to have you." Henry held her close. "I won't let anyone bully you." He kissed her cheek, and as she blushed, Henry kissed her again. Just then, Emma's father walked in and caught them together. Startled, Henry immediately stepped away. Henry respectfully told Emma's father, "I want to marry your daughter." However, her father firmly refused, saying, "You're like her uncle. This is not right." Enraged, he threw hot tea at Henry and stormed off. Later, Emma asked Henry, "Did my dad agree?" Henry shook his head. No, he refused. Emma looked down, worried. "Are you going to leave me?" she asked. Henry held her hands and said, "You think I'd leave you? I swear, until my last breath, I will love only you." Seeing an injury on his hand, Emma called her doctor friend for medicine. Just then, Henry arrived and punched James, pushing him away. "If you don't want to go abroad, then leave quietly," he warned. James, defeated, left. Emma, still shaken, turned to Henry and asked, "Did you call me here to meet him?" Henry scoffed, "How stupid can you be? Why would I do that?" Embarrassed, Emma admitted, "I thought you were surprising me." Henry reassured her, "If I wanted to surprise you, I would have come to pick you up myself. From now on, I will always protect you." He gently kissed her forehead and took her home. Emma, feeling nervous, wondered why he had brought her home so soon. Was he planning something? However, Henry simply placed a necklace around her neck. Seeing her flustered expression, he smirked and said, "I just wanted to give you a gift." Emma smiled. "I'm so happy to have you." Henry held her close. "I won't let anyone bully you." He kissed her cheek, and as she blushed, Henry kissed her again. Just then, Emma's father walked in and caught them together. Startled, Henry immediately stepped away. Henry respectfully told Emma's father, "I want to marry your daughter." However, her father firmly refused, saying, "You're like her uncle. This is not right." Enraged, he threw hot tea at Henry and stormed off. Later, Emma asked Henry, "Did my dad agree?" Henry shook his head. No, he refused. Emma looked down, worried. "Are you going to leave me?" she asked. Henry held her hands and said, "You think I'd leave you? I swear, until my last breath, I will love only you." Seeing an injury on his hand, Emma called her doctor friend for medicine. Meanwhile, Emma's father decided to transfer most of his shares to her, but Emma's stepmother faked a pregnancy, claiming she was expecting a son. Delighted at the thought of having an heir, her father reconsidered, deciding to leave his shares to the unborn child instead. The stepmother, thrilled, secretly called her real husband and rejoiced, "Once we get all the shares, I'll leave him and come back to you." However, Emma's father overheard everything and discovered not only her deception but also that Luna was not his real daughter. Furious, he demanded a divorce and asked her to sign the papers. Enraged, Emma's stepmother plotted revenge. One day, as Emma and her father were traveling by car, her stepmother's real husband orchestrated an accident. Fortunately, they survived with minor injuries, and Henry arrived just in time to save them. Emma's father, overwhelmed with gratitude, told Henry, "You came to protect us in our time of need. If something happens to me, take care of my daughter." While shielding them, Henry got injured and was rushed to the ICU. Unconscious, horrified, Emma informed her father about Henry's condition. Realizing Henry's unwavering love and devotion, her father finally gave his blessing for their marriage. Meanwhile, Luna and her mother met with her real father, plotting their next move. Emma confronted them, declaring, "You will all be punished for what you've done." Finally, Henry regained consciousness, and in front of everyone, he proposed to Emma. Overjoyed, she accepted, bringing the story to a happy ending. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.